for this review, we have the Transcraft Beetle TC-02. This figure has been out for years, but Transcraft recently introduced we'll call it a clean version. The original version had weathering and stuff like that on the figure, and this one is designed to kind of be plain. So I'm quite aware of this figure. I've seen it before, but the clean version seemed tempting, and I'm very curious what this will look like compared to the Takara Bumblebee of the same character, the Bumblebee movie, as well as how it pairs up with the Takara Optimus. So we'll go over the box real quick. So a little weird word bubble here on the front. You get kind of this 3D CAD design and these weird purple and blue stripes. And then on the top you get Transcraft. I don't know if this is meant to try to simulate like a sound wave or something. I don't know. The side does have a silhouette. The other side has the vehicle mode. Bottom, it's a little bit different from the top, but same design style. Then on the back, you get another CAD shot with more of this purple, blue, yellow line going through it. All right, so let's get the figure opened. And it comes with a full color instruction book. Actually, this might be more like a poster. Yeah, this is a poster, but it is in color. So that's cool. We get some blades to go on Bumblebee's hands. This is a thing they introduced in live action movies. And these are actually different. One has got like a straight edge, like an angled edge, and the other one is symmetrical. All right, then we've got the figure, and he is in robot mode. And looking pretty cool so far. So before we get into the figure, we have a battle mask. Looking pretty cool. There does seem to be some articulation. Maybe not. This is just a screw joint. And then he's got his arm blaster. So I imagine we can hide his hand and then peg this on. So that is his blaster. All right. So the figure itself, he does seem to be a little lanky, but this thing has to transform into a Volkswagen, so you're gonna cut corners somewhere to make all that magic happen, because it technically can't. The way these robots are designed in the movie, lots of mass shifting and parts, shrinkage and stuff like that. Another interesting thing about this design, and I'm not going to get into transformation. There's some really good videos on transformation, but this figure does have faux parts, and the chest you see is going to end up being the back of the figure. And the front of the car is all down in the legs. So that's how Transcraft went to make this thing possible, make it work. It's weird when you think about it like that, but you know, the results are pretty cool. Like I'm really digging the look of this. It does feel light, although there is some metal here and there. Like his crotch is one, you know, well, I was going to say one block of metal, but this front piece is metal. You know, this actually might be the only metal. These clamps in the back are metal. So even though it does have some die cast, it's not a lot, so it doesn't really add to the feel and heft of the figure. And then another thing to note is the wheels do have rubber tires, so that's cool. And then another big aspect is the design of the door wings. As you see, they start off flat out of the packaging, but you can maneuver these and take a little bit of work, but you can get the wings to fold out. He had a few times where you could kind of see these more deployed, but for the most part, he kept them on his back like this. Okay, so that's the figure. And I'm going to see if I can figure out how to get the arm cannon to work. I might have to look at the instructions. You can definitely tell this seems to go on here. And I looked at the instructions, and it's way more rudimentary than I thought it was going to be. You really just kind of peg this on. Is that right? There we go. Kind of have to situate the hand on the other side of the forearm. And I think this is pretty much it. Yeah, there's a peg here, and there's a peg in the hand. That's going to go together. And then you got a peg here and a hole at the top of the forearm, and that clamps in. And that's kind of it. In the movie, I do remember the hands were kind of integrated into this, so this isn't completely accurate, but it works nevertheless. And then you can take the blades, and I believe these just kind of pry in. So there's a little groove right here on each side. You just slide it in, and that's it. That's all you do with the blades. All right. I do like that his feet are large, because that was a thing in the movie. He does have some tires down there. He's got some doors down there too. As I was transforming or adding the accessories on, this did disconnect. So that's a thing. There is a upper forearm swivel and a bicep swivel, so you will be able to get this guy in just about any kind of pose with his arms. There is a joint I think is really here for transformation, but when you go to move him, move his arm, you're going to see that this is going to be moving around a lot. I see that as a good thing because it adds some articulation. Some people may not like it. It doesn't really attach to anything that I can tell. So just kind of be aware of that. The head is on kind of a weird joint, again, for transformation. So when you go to do things with the head, it's going to want to lift up, but it is on a ball pig. And, if you just push downward as you move the head, you'll get it to do what you want. He does have a waist swivel. As you can see, there's a disc hinge in the hip and a swivel at the hip and a swivel at the upper thigh. And then there's this whole gimmick with the knee. You only get 90 degrees with it, but it is a little cool that they kind of engineered this, but I don't know. If they didn't, I don't think you would miss it. And then the feet, there's a lot going on with the feet. There's a lot of parts in here that kind of transform to make the feet, but there is some up and down. There is a tilt. There's a joint designated just for the tilt. But I kind of feel like I want to try to leave this alone for the most part because you're going to start trying to do some crazy poses with it and this thing's going to come apart. Although, like, from messing with it right now, it feels pretty solid. Like, it doesn't feel loose. The only thing that gives a sense of looseness is these, I'm calling them butterfly joints that the shoulders are connected to, because it just doesn't connect to anything. So when you pick it up, it wants to do stuff. But it doesn't look bad, and it doesn't feel bad articulating it. So yeah, I think I like this. This is pretty cool to be a third-party figure. Okay, so I'm going to take this off for a moment. And we're going to bring out Takara Bumblebee. Oh, and before I do that, let's take a look at the head real quick. See how difficult this might be. I'm going to do this off camera so I don't destroy this figure. Okay. Give it some good pressure and it's not budging, so I'm a little worried about pulling on this further. Seems like it should pop off pretty easily. I just don't know if this is one of those things where you have to unscrew a joint. I don't see anything that unscrews on this side of the head, but yeah, looking at this, the socket is pretty deep, so maybe heating it up will help make a difference. But just to kind of take a look at the two of them together, see if I can do this so you can take a look. It is pretty cool. Although the red eyes are the bad eyes, and there's not blue eyes that you can put on this guy. Because remember in the movie, his eyes in this battle mask mode go red, and then he's like, I don't know what they were trying to imply, like he's in some kind of evil mode or Decepticon mode. I don't know what they're trying to do. But then they got him back to his senses and these turned blue, so that was the whole thing. Okay, so here is the Takara Bumblebee. And for the most part, he fits the bill. The thing that is kind of disappointing about him is how much junk is in the back. I don't mind this. Takara and Hasbro, they're always going to design the toys so that the hood and usually the front windshield don't break apart. Back windshield, they don't care so much, but the front windshield and the hood, they try to design them so that they're, you know, one piece. That's what they did here. I could live with this. This isn't great, but also from what we know, in the original design, the wings were like this. You know, they're larger. There's a lot of marketing material from that time where, you know, he had these window, you know, the door wings were like fully in one piece and they were prominent in the artwork. So I know that that's where they got this from. But it's been, you know, 6-7 years. I don't know that they're going to go back and redo this. So that's a big reason why I got this guy. I kind of feel like he's going to fill in for us not getting a 2.0 for this guy. Maybe we will. It might take 30 years, and I don't want to wait 30 years for another version of this. One thing is that there is a pretty big size difference, and that's kind of a constant thing with third-party figures. They just, for whatever reason, they just want to make the scale different. Maybe they think they will not get in trouble for doing it that way, but I think that's kind of silly too. And I don't really see a way that you could fudge the height. Like there's no way to get the legs to look smaller on this guy. But the proportions are similar. You know, he had kind of these gangly arms. Both of them do a good job of doing that. And yeah, I think this is pretty cool. Okay, so let's move him to the side. And let's bring out the Takara Optimus. Now, the size is still a little off, and let's see if I can bring him out here. I think this is the correct scale. When you look at frames of the movie, they kind of show his head somewhere around here. And when you're, you know, looking upward, you know, you're going to have like angle distortion. So in a lot of shots, he looks like he's like right up to like where the tops of the hips are. This isn't extremely bad, but I think it's too tall. So I think it passes, but technically size is a little off. But I think he does fit in. Like on a shelf with other figures, I think this looks fine. And by the way, this is a DNA design kit. This has, yeah, we should talk about it because it makes the hips taller. And so technically Takara Optimus would be a little bit shorter. So something else to be aware of. But yeah, so I think this looks good. Now, I know there are other third-party Bumblebee movie primes. I think the scaling is a little weird with them, so I don't know that I'll ever be picking those up. But I do know that there is a Rise of the Beast Optimus coming out, and it looks pretty cool. A third-party one. And I may pick that up and get it to us so we can do a review and do some comparisons with all these guys. As of this time, there is no Rise of the Beast NPM figures. The last NPM figure we got was Bone Crusher. The next one that is scheduled to be released is a reissue of the 2007 Bumblebee with no physical improvements other than paint. So that figure is a good figure. I think they could improve a few things, like especially the head, because the head is just doesn't really match the movie at all. But now that we've got the whole MPG thing, just kind of curious, like what's going to happen to Masterpiece. Like the Masterpiece news is kind of fizzled as of late, so very interesting to see what 2007 is going to be. So that is the review. I would recommend getting this figure. If you've got the original, I don't think you have to get it. I don't think it's a need for a collection, but if you are kind of wanting something more realistic, something that does transform, something that's not, 3-0, this is a good figure. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please tune into more videos coming up. And if you haven't done so, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thank you.